Revenge films.
I was still struggling to get over my divorce when I met A. Well, we started dating shortly after we met. She asked me several times why I got divorced, but I didn't tell her. As an open-minded and valiant person, she said,
"Let the past be the past. I like who you are now."
Soon, A introduced me to her parents, and our relationship became official. However, A got pregnant a few months later. A said,
"I'm so happy to have a baby with you."
Then she asked me to marry her, but I was totally devastated. I was diagnosed with azoospermia, which means I can't have children. My ex-wife wanted a child so bad that she had a mental breakdown when she heard my lab results. I couldn't bear to see her suffer anymore, so we divorced. So naturally, I was so confused when A said she was pregnant with my baby. I thought, maybe I was misdiagnosed. I went to a different hospital, but again, I was told I couldn't have children. I didn't contact A for a while. One day, A suddenly showed up at my door.
"I'm pregnant with your child. Why are you so unhappy?"
I felt disgusted that she tried to put the blame on me. I'm not proud of what I did after, but I had to know the truth. I grabbed her cell phone and diary and locked myself in the washroom.
"Hey, what are you doing? Give me my phone back. Open the door now."
She screamed and banged on the door like crazy, but I ignored her. I opened her diary, and an ultrasound picture fell out. Well, she wasn't lying about being pregnant. Then I went through her phone and found she had been flirting with my boss, B, over text. I saw all the lovey-dovey texts from my girlfriend sent to B.
"The baby's happy that Daddy messaged Mommy. I went to my pregnancy checkup today. Everything's going well. Don't worry, he won't find out. What about your wife? Are you sure she hasn't found out anything?"
I saw a Mr. B in my wife's contacts, which looks like my boss's home number, so I called the number, and his wife answered. I invited her over to my house to have a chat. She said she'd be right over after dropping off her kids at a friend's home. When I came out of the washroom, A had already run away. I calmed myself down, called A's parents, and told them what was going on. Her parents panicked at first. After they calmed down a little, they also said they would come to my house. B's wife showed up my door with an angry face. Apparently, she tried contacting her husband but couldn't reach him. While I was transferring the text from her phone to my laptop, A's parents also arrived. They started apologizing right after I opened the door. A's father even cried. I let them in and introduced them to B's wife. "This is Mrs. B. She's the #1 victim here. Your daughter got pregnant with B's child. Then she lied and tried to use me, saying it's my child so they can keep doing what they've been doing. Now that her lie was exposed, she'll probably try to get rid of the baby. Your daughter thinks it's okay to do whatever is convenient for her, even when it comes to her own baby." A's parents kept crying and couldn't say anything. B's wife was still trying to call her husband. The atmosphere in my home was so gloomy when we were waiting to hear from A and B. 2 days later, I was told A had returned to her parents' home. I also heard from B's wife that B had also come home, so we decided to meet up again. I arrived at A's parents' house and saw A sitting on the sofa, completely expressionless, didn't even look at me, and B was down on the floor looking pale and kept shaking. A's father said to her, "Don't you have anything to say?" A started crying and apologized. After that, B's wife also had a talk with them. Then A turned to me and said,
"It was true that I had an affair with B, but this baby is yours. You have to trust me."
I already told A's parents and B's wife about my condition beforehand, so we knew A was still trying to fool everyone. A's father got furious. "How many times are you going to lie to us?" A replied,
"I'm not lying. I swear it's his child."
So I explained my condition and told her I couldn't have children. But A still insisted.
"No, it is your baby. You have to trust me."
Nobody spoke for a while. The room became silent again. Then A said in a very quiet voice,
"I wish you had told me about your condition earlier."
I replied, "You still managed to get pregnant, didn't you? You were just using me from beginning to end. For the first time, I'm glad I have azoospermia." A and B both became pale and speechless. Then we discussed what we should do about the baby. A said,
"You kept your condition a secret, which means you lied to me too, right? I'll get an abortion." then we.
After hearing what she said, A's father got so furious that he slapped her in the face.
Stop it!
A screamed at him. You're talking about getting rid of your baby! How can you act like you're the victim here? She cried even harder. A thought everything was so easy. To her, abortion was as random as throwing away a toy she didn't like anymore. It was shocking to know how irresponsible and selfish she actually was. I didn't contact her afterwards, so I don't really know what happened after that day. But from what I heard from B's wife, A got an abortion eventually. B's wife moved back in with her parents after divorcing B and received compensation from both A and B. Of course, A and I didn't get engaged. There's no way I would marry her. But A's parents felt sorry and offered to compensate me, so I accepted the money. In order to forget what happened, I've been working as hard as possible ever since. As a result, my work performance improved significantly. One day, my boss called me into his office and said, "How would you like to go to another country? I think you'll do great there." Then he offered me a promotion. The only thing I wanted was to bury myself in work. Plus, it was a perfect opportunity for a fresh start, so I accepted the offer and went abroad. Working in another country was a whole new experience for me. Then I met my new girlfriend there. She told me she's been married and has a child. I also shared my stories with her. We understood each other and became closer and closer to the point where she introduced me to her child. Both of us had given up on marriage after being betrayed by our exes. But when her child called me Papa, I felt so happy and wanted to build a family with them. So my girlfriend and I decided to get married. I had already told her that I couldn't have children when we were exchanging our stories, but she said it doesn't matter as long as we're happy. That saved me in some way. By the way, I cried with joy when I heard her child call me Papa. A few years later, I got a wedding invitation from a good friend, so I returned home with my wife and son. Then I heard what happened to A from my friend. She got married but couldn't have children after years of trying. So she went to the hospital with her husband. The doctor told her that she had complications from the previous abortion. So it's become hard for her to conceive. Apparently, she never told her husband about the abortion. Her husband felt lied to and divorced her right away. A was driven to despair by the fact that she might not be able to have children, and she soon became a shut-in. I was surprised that A was in such bad shape. But she's responsible for her decisions, so she brought it all on herself. Now she probably regrets her past decisions. But she can't turn back time and make a different choice. Maybe she got what she deserved. After attending my friend's wedding, I brought my family to my parents' home. I hadn't seen them since I went abroad. My parents didn't expect me to get remarried overseas. They were very surprised when I told them that I had gotten married. They also thought they'd never have grandchildren because of my condition. So they were thrilled when they saw my son. My father took so many pictures of his grandson that his phone ran out of storage. I failed my marriage the first time because of my condition. I almost got married to my cheating and lying ex. I once thought I'd never find happiness again. Now I'm the happiest man on earth. And I enjoy every moment with my wife and son.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.